They sat me behind the kitchen doors, like I was a spill they didn't want guests to see. My name is Marlo Bennett. I am 58, and I have spent most of my life as a charge nurse in a busy trauma ER, the kind where you learn to keep your voice calm even when the room is on fire. I thought that skill would help me today. I thought I could breathe through anything. But when I walked into my son's wedding reception, in a navy satin dress I paid for myself because the bride said black would look too harsh in photos, there was no place card with my name. No warm greeting. No mother of the groom's seat. Just a catering kid with a headset who stared at my face like he was trying to remember instructions. He cleared his throat. "Ma'am, they asked if you could wait back here for a moment." Back here meant the service corridor, where the air smelled like hot oil and lemon sanitizer. A row of folding chairs sat against the wall beside a cart loaded with empty champagne flutes. Someone had tossed a stack of napkins onto the nearest chair, like that was enough to make it mine. I stood there holding my clutch so tightly the metal clasp bit into my palm. Through the swinging doors, I could hear the band warming up. Laughter, the bright clink of glasses, the sound of a room that was ready to celebrate my son, Griffin, like he'd appeared fully grown and polished, with no woman behind him scraping overtime shifts together to pay for braces, prom tux rentals, and college deposits. I tried to tell myself it was a mix-up, that someone would notice, that Griffin would come looking for me. But then the doors swung open and I saw the head table, glowing under strings of warm lights. The bride, Calla Rosewood, sat centered like a queen, her parents on either side, already laughing as if the night belonged to them. And Griffin, my Griffin, leaned toward her mother to listen to something whispered with a smile. He didn't look toward the doors, not once. I felt my throat close up, tight and dry, the same feeling I get right before delivering a death update to a family in a waiting room. Only this time, the death was quieter. It was my place in my own son's life, being lowered into the ground with a satin ribbon and a photo-ready grin. The catering kid shifted his weight. They said it's just for the visuals. The bride has a specific aesthetic. She wanted clean lines. Clean lines, like I was a stain. I sat carefully because my legs were already shaking. The folding chair groaned under me. The cart beside my knee squeaked every time someone brushed past it. A server rushed by with a tray of shrimp cocktail, and for a second my view of the reception was literally blocked by curved pink bodies arranged like decorations. I watched my son's wedding through a swinging door. I thought about the checks I'd written, the deposits, the upgrades, the extra bartender because Calla insisted people would judge, the floral arch because she said the ceremony would look empty without it, the photographer package that included a second shooter because she wanted more angles of her dress. Every time she said, "Marlo, you're a lifesaver," I swallowed the small doubt in my stomach and told myself love sometimes looks like sacrifice. The band started the first song. Applause erupted. The doors swung again and I saw Griffin and Calla step onto the dance floor. Her gown shimmered like she'd been poured into moonlight. His suit fit perfectly. I paid for both. He didn't look up. He didn't search the room for me. He moved like a man who assumed I would always be somewhere behind him, invisible and reliable. Hold on, tiny break. I'm human, and editing these can get lonely. Your comments are my proof that these stories reach real people. Like, subscribe, and comment where you're watching from. All right, back to it. All right, now let me take you back. 3 weeks earlier, I stood in Calla's childhood kitchen while she and her mother finalized the seating chart at the Granite Island. Her mother, Lorraine, had manicured hands and a voice that always sounded like she was smiling at someone she didn't respect. She slid the paper toward me with a polite little tap. "We're keeping the family tables balanced," Lorraine said. "We don't want any awkward energy." Awkward energy. I had stared at the chart and found my name printed in tiny letters, not at a family table, but at a table labeled vendors and overflow. I laughed because my brain didn't know what else to do. "Oh, that's funny. You put me with the vendors." Calla didn't look up from her laptop. "It's not like that. It's just, we have a lot of important people and the room layout is tight." Important people. The phrase had landed like a slap. I glanced at Griffin, expecting him to speak, to correct it, to say, "Mom sits with us. That's my mom." Instead, he rubbed the back of his neck and said, "Babe, don't stress. Mom's flexible. She won't mind." That was when I realized something terrifying. They had already decided who I was, not his mother, not a person, a resource, flexible, quiet, convenient. Back in the corridor, a server placed a plate in front of me like I was just another staff member who needed feeding. Cold chicken, a limp green bean, a plastic cup of diet soda sweating onto the table. Through the doors, I heard Lorraine lift her voice for a toast. She had a microphone. Of course she did. "To our daughter, Calla," she said, "and the wonderful man she chose. Griffin, welcome to our family. You are already one of us." The room roared with applause. The words made my stomach twist because I knew what she meant. She meant he was one of them now, and I was not part of the picture. I leaned forward, just enough to peek through the door crack again. I saw the head table. I saw Griffin's hand on Calla's back. I saw him smiling at Lorraine, glowing like he was a man being adopted into the life he always deserved. And then Calla turned her head slightly, her eyes scanning the room. She saw me in the corridor. She saw exactly where I was sitting. Her expression didn't change. No surprise, no guilt. Just a calm, satisfied little smile, like she'd placed a vase on a shelf and it was exactly where it belonged. That smile told me this was not a mistake. This was a plan. My hands stopped shaking. The rage didn't come hot and wild. It came clean and quiet like a scalpel. I took my phone from my clutch and I didn't call Griffin. I didn't text him. I didn't beg for a seat. I opened the wedding folder I'd kept for months, the one with every vendor contact and payment schedule. My thumb hovered over one name in particular, a name Griffin didn't even know was in my phone. Because there was one thing I had never told him. And I was about to decide if he deserved to keep not knowing. The name I hovered over was Soren Blackwell. Soren wasn't family. He wasn't part of the wedding. He was something better. He was the hospital's risk management attorney, the man who taught me how to speak in sentences that couldn't be twisted. We worked together after a nasty lawsuit years ago. He respected competence. He respected facts. And he never, ever cared about anyone's aesthetic. My thumb pressed call before I could talk myself out of it. He answered on the second ring, voice low. "Marlo." I stepped away from the chairs, deeper into the corridor where the noise from the kitchen swallowed my breathing. "Soren," I said, and my voice surprised me. It didn't wobble. "I'm at my son's wedding. They sat me behind the kitchen doors. I paid for everything. And I think they used my card without permission." Silence for half a beat. Then he exhaled slowly, like a man setting down a heavy bag. "Where are you right now?" "In the service hallway. I can see the reception through the door." "Okay, listen to me. Do not confront anyone in public. Do not shout. Do not cry. We're going to document, then we're going to control the money. Do you have the vendor contracts in your name?" "Yes," I said. I insisted. "My checks, my signature." "Good, then you're not a guest. You're the client." He paused. "Did you authorize extra charges in the last week? Tastings, rehearsal dinner upgrades, spa packages?" My stomach tightened like a fist. I didn't know until tonight. I'm checking now. "Open your banking app. Screenshot everything. Time stamps. Merchant names. Then lock the card. After that, forward me the contracts. I'll send notice to any vendor with an outstanding balance that all changes require your written approval. If someone charges you again, it becomes fraud." Fraud, the word landed clean, sharp, undeniable. Not hurt feelings, not drama. Fraud. I swallowed. "Soren, I don't want to ruin my son's wedding." His voice hardened, not unkindly. "They already ruined it. They just made sure you weren't in the room when it happened." I looked at the swinging door. Through the narrow crack, I caught a flash of Calla's veil, the glittering edge of her smile as she laughed with her bridesmaids. The room was beautiful. The kind of beautiful that cost someone else their dignity. I opened my banking app. My fingers moved like they belonged to someone else. There they were. 2 charges I didn't recognize, both from 3 days ago. One from a lounge downtown. One from a boutique spa. The amounts were high enough to make my ears ring. I took screenshots. My hands were steady. Soren's voice softened again. Marlo, I need you to answer one question honestly. If you do nothing tonight, what changes? I stared at my own reflection in the stainless steel door of a walk-in fridge. I looked older than I felt, not because of age, because of what I had swallowed. Nothing changes, I whispered. They learn they can do it again. That's right, he said. Now you're going to do one more thing for me. You're going to step into the reception for exactly 60 seconds. Not to beg for a seat, not to start a scene. You're going to look at your son. You're going to see who he is in this moment. And then you'll decide what you're willing to fund. My heart thudded once, heavy. I could do 60 seconds. I'd done CPR for longer on strangers. I pushed through the swinging door. The music hit me like warm water. Lights, laughter, the scent of flowers and champagne, people in suits and gowns moving like they belonged there. No one looked at me. That was almost worse than if they had stared. I walked along the edge of the room, past a table stacked with favors, little boxes tied with ribbon. The ribbon was the exact shade Calla had rejected from my dress because it photographed too purple. I passed the photo booth, where guests crowded in, grinning under a neon sign. I found Griffin near the bar. He was laughing with Lorraine and a man I assumed was Calla's father. They stood close, shoulders angled inward, a private circle. Griffin's face looked open, easy. He looked like a man being welcomed, chosen. I waited for the instinct, the pull that would make him glance up and find me. He didn't. Then Calla appeared at his side, her hand sliding into his like she was claiming property. She leaned up and kissed his cheek, eyes half-lidded, satisfied. Her gaze flicked toward me for a second and something tiny changed. Not surprise, not guilt, a warning. She walked closer, still smiling, still sweet. Marlo, she said, loud enough for the people around her to hear. There you are, everything okay? I could see it now, the trap. If I said no, I'd be the problem. If I said yes, I'd disappear again. I smiled back, small and calm. Everything is exactly as it is, Calla. Her smile tightened. Good, because tonight is about us. Her fingers squeezed Griffin's hand. He finally turned, his eyes landing on me like he'd just remembered a task he forgot. Mom, he said, are you okay? The old me would have lied. The old me would have swallowed it and said, of course, honey, I'm fine. I looked at him, really looked, and I realized he wasn't asking because he cared. He was asking because he could feel the ground shifting under his perfect night. I nodded once, I'm fine, Griffin. Then I turned and walked out, back through the swinging door, back into the corridor where the air smelled like heat and metal and truth. In the hallway, my phone buzzed, a text from Soren. Send me the contracts now. And Marlo, tell me the bride's full legal name. I stared at the message. Full legal name meant he was about to pull records, licenses, filings, anything that could explain those charges. I opened my contacts, ready to type. And then I heard it. 2 bridesmaids in matching satin robes, whispering as they hurried past the corridor entrance, their heels clicking. I told you, one said, laughing. She won't do anything. Griffin's mom is obsessed with being the good guy. Calla has her wrapped around her finger. The other snorted. Yeah, and if she freaks out, Griffin will handle her. He always does. Besides, she's not even really. The sentence cut off as they saw me. They froze, their faces drained of color. And in that instant, with their words hanging unfinished in the air, I understood that the kitchen chair wasn't the first time they'd talked about me like I didn't count. It was just the first time I heard it. I didn't move as the bridesmaids hurried past me, their satin robes whispering like guilty secrets. One of them mouthed I'm sorry without sound. I didn't nod. I didn't forgive. I simply stepped aside and let them disappear into the noise they thought would protect them. My phone buzzed again. Soren. I typed Calla Rosewood Bennett and hit send. Then I locked my card. The little spinning wheel finished, and just like that, the tap they'd been drinking from went dry. I didn't rush. I didn't storm back in. I sat on the folding chair, smoothed my dress, and waited. It took less than 10 minutes for the room beyond the doors to change pitch. Laughter turned uneven. The band stopped mid-song, confused murmurs rippling like a bad current. A bartender pushed through the doors, eyes wide, headset askew. "Ma'am," he said, glancing at his tablet. "The system just declined. For everything." I met his gaze calmly. "Please speak to the client. That's me." He blinked. "Oh," then nodded and backed away. A minute later, Lorraine burst through the doors like a woman used to being obeyed. Her smile was gone. Her voice was tight. "Marlo, there's been a misunderstanding. The bar shut down. The band says there's an issue with payment." I stood, slowly. "No misunderstanding, Lorraine." I paused just long enough to be heard. "There's a correction." Calla appeared behind her, eyes sharp now, the pleasant mask cracked. Griffin followed, panic written all over him. "Mom," Griffin said, "what did you do?" I looked at my son, really looked. The boy I once held together with band-aids and bedtime stories. The man who let me be erased for a picture. I felt sadness, yes, but it no longer ran the room. "I did what I should have done weeks ago," I said. "I protected myself." Calla stepped forward. "You can't do this. You're ruining everything." I tilted my head. "You already had everything. You just wanted it without me in the frame." Griffin's mouth opened, closed. He looked around, finally seeing the hallway, the cart, the folding chairs, the place they'd put me. "Mom, I didn't think," he started. "No," I said gently, "you didn't, and that's the problem." Soren's email chimed. I opened it. His words were crisp, professional. Unauthorized charges documented. Vendors notified. Future services suspended pending review. I met Calla's eyes. "Any further charges on my card will be handled as fraud. That includes the spa, the lounge, and anything else you felt entitled to." Her face went pale. Lorraine sputtered about decorum and embarrassment. I didn't argue. I didn't need to. I picked up my clutch. "I'm leaving now. The rest of the evening is yours to figure out." Griffin followed me to the side door. Outside, the air was cool and quiet, like the world had been waiting. He reached for my arm, then stopped himself. "Mom," he said, voice breaking, "I didn't mean to hurt you." I believed him, and that made it worse. "Intent doesn't erase impact," I said. "Love isn't silent when it matters." He nodded, tears slipping free. I didn't wipe them away. I drove home alone. I took off my dress and hung it carefully, not because it deserved reverence, but because I did. I slept, deeply, without guilt pressing on my chest. In the days that followed, the noise came. Calls, messages, apologies wrapped in explanations. I responded once. A single email to Griffin. "I love you. I will always want good things for you. But I will no longer shrink to fit someone else's vision. If you want a relationship with me, it will be one where I am seen." Then I stopped replying. I took time off work. I planted herbs on my balcony. I cooked meals that were mine. I hosted a dinner for friends who laughed easily and pulled out chairs for me at the center of the table without asking. Weeks later, a card arrived. Griffin's handwriting. No excuses, just ownership. He wrote that he was learning, that he was sorry, that he hoped one day to earn a seat back at my table. I placed the card in a drawer, not hidden, not honored, simply kept. Because I had learned something important in that kitchen hallway. Love that costs your dignity is not love, it is convenience. And I am no one's convenience anymore.